All right, folks. Good morning. Oh, but look at the zoom in on that camera today. Wow, that's not good. I'm just gonna go here. What is going on with the freaking camera today? Good gravy. Let me go. Geez, I'm telling you what, I am a mess over here. Oh, I'm on the Zoom version. That's why. 'Cause I'm a dumbass. Let's just do that. Is that better? No, hold on a second. I want you to see me, not the top of my freaking head. That's better. Hey, look at that magic, magic of technology, right? Let's go back to the home screen and let's chat a little bit. That one also is jacked up. Who cares? It's Friday. Oh my goodness gracious. We had a good morning in the garage though. Did you all watch some of that? I know some of you were there playing along in Crapsy with me. That was pretty cool. We had a nice little run today, which was good because yesterday was such a disaster, right? Um, so anyway, yeah, let's get to it here. I don't have a whole lot to talk about as far as news notes and everything else goes because I'm running a tad late and I got kind of a big day at work. I'm going to be a short show today, but I do want to talk to you a little bit about House Edge. And we talked about House Edge yesterday. Let me actually switch over to the screen here. We talked about House Edge yesterday as basics of what the House Edge is and kind of how we connect into it, right? What it is. It's that commission that the casino wins in every bet, right? And although it's not a way to say this is the best way to play or it's a guaranteed way to win or you're going to win more money, it's important to know what the House Edge is and how it works. And I showed you in chips yesterday kind of how that works, right? You take your bets and you say, well, over the course of time, let's take the 5 or 9 as an example, right? I'm gonna bet the 5 for $10. I'm gonna lose that thing 6 times. I'm gonna lose $60, right? When I win, the 4 times I win, I'm only gonna win 14, right? So I'm gonna end up being down the $4 in the end, or not down, but you're gonna be $4 lighter than you could have been had you got paid true odds. And I think that's okay. I think people get kind of like the casinos are screwing us, but it's not that. To me, the House Edge is fine. It's like any business, it's their profit. It's their margin, right? And it's why they exist. You know what I'm saying? They get you when you lose, they get you when you win. And I think that's the secret to kind of how it works. And I think what I want to talk about in this session, which is number 6 of the gambling math series 301, is the impact of the House Edge on you. Okay. And the impact on you is you don't feel it. And I say this all the time. Nobody really feels the House Edge, right? If they made you pay it with every bet, you would feel it, but they don't do that. They pay you the difference. They don't say to you, for example, on a $10 5 that pays, if they paid it true odds, $15, but every time said, you got to give me $1 to do that. You had to pay them the $1 to get the $15, you'd feel it. What it is they're paying you $14. They're taking the $1 out ahead of time. They're giving you $14. We oftentimes do 15 for 1 as a convenience measure, right? But because you don't actually give them the difference, you don't give them the 40 cents on the 6 every time that the 6 hits, you don't feel that coming out of your bankroll, right? You're just winning less than you ought to. And again, from a tactical side of things, I'm fine with that. And you should be too, right? It's just the commission, right? It's their built-in profit that they make on every single bet. And again, that's part of doing business. It's the secret sauce of the casino. They take your money when you lose, of course, right? You're betting, I bet versus this. And if you lose, they take your money, which is what you expect, right? But they also take a little bit off the top when you win. Okay. 50-50 bet, you only win 90 cents. Like that's kind of what that is. Now, what is it? The real impact of this on us. And this is what I want to talk about today. The real impact on your life of the House Edge. And again, this is not a House Edge versus place bets. This is more of a, what does it look like? And I would say this to you. This is a great visual. This comes to me from a good friend of mine, JB. The picture I want you to have in your mind is this: all things being equal, right? If they paid you proper, if the 5 and 9 paid 3-2, if the 6 and 8 actually paid 6-5, if the 4 and 10 actually paid 2-1, which we know they don't on the craps game. If you were paid legitimately what the actual odds were, the race would look like this. We'd all be at the same starting point. You, me, and the casino. Okay. And how would you win? How would you ever beat the casino? And how would they beat you? Here's you got to flip that question around. How would the casino beat you? Right? If every bet paid true, if you always got paid 3-2 on the 5 and 9. Always got paid 6-5 on the 5 on the 6 and 8. There's every bet's a tie, right? The only way for somebody to come out ahead is for somebody else to trip and fall in this race, right? If you're all running with the same speed and the same starting point, the only way to win is to win more often than them. Catch a streak where you win, the five times instead of 4 times out of 36. You catch that streak and you walk away. That's the only way that you can win in a tie race, right? And the casino knows that, right? In a tie game, in a tie race or an even race, the only way that they can win is to beat you either A, more often, or B, for more money, right? So if you are betting big because you think you got this whatever edge and you lose it, they can only come out ahead if you bet too much and lose, and or you lose more often than you ought to. That's the only way that anybody wins a race where everything is equal. We can run at the same speed and we have the same starting point and the race at the same distance. That's the way if it's a tie, nobody wins. And the casino cannot put a business together if it's going to be a guaranteed tie. And again, over 1 billion rolls I'm talking about. If it's 1 billion rolls and it's a tie, there's no way they can win any money or earn money. And that's why the house edge exists. The race we're actually running looks like this, right? And again, picture a 100-yard dash where the track is actually straight, right? And the casino starts out ahead because they're going to take a little bit of money off of you, right? It's almost like running where they're running a straight race and you're running up a little bit of a hill. Or we all start at the same starting point and you're carrying 10 pounds. And every 20 feet, they throw 10 more pounds of weight on your back and it slows you down. That's what the house edge does to you. The race is not fair, okay? Because you lose even when you win, you're always losing ground to them. And it gets worse and worse and worse over time. Even if the house trips and falls in that race, you're so far behind, you can almost never catch back up again. And it's kind of a daunting thing when you look at it. Now, again, you don't feel it. Like you don't tactically feel the money coming out of your rack. But if you look at what happens over the course of an enormous amount of time, you'll see what the impact of this really is. And I'm going to go actually to my browser screen here, excuse me, and show you what this looks like with actual numbers, okay? Because again, in the unfair race, when you lose, you win. You lose when you win. You're always losing ground. Here we go. Let me show you what this looks like. Let me switch my screens here, and we're going to go here. And I put a little spreadsheet together for us that will, I think, illustrate this a little bit. So yesterday I asked in chat to Jacob from Wager Me This, how many times have you won on a place bet on the 5? Now this spreadsheet does a couple of things. I'm going to give you kind of line by line how this works. We'll take the place bet in the 4 and 10. We'll take this line here that I have in blue, and we'll kind of talk how this thing works. Okay, we know that the 4 and 10 can roll 3 times, 3 ways out of 36. Okay, the odds against that happening are 2 to 1. Your payout is not 2 to 1. It's 9 to 5. It would be 10 to 5 if it was 2 to 1. Okay. So for a $10 bet, you win $18. The true payout would have been $20 on that bet, but you're only getting paid 18. So the delta, the difference there is $2. That's a 10% difference. So your expected edged loss on the 4 and 10 is $2. Okay. Every time you win a $10 bet on the 4 or 10, you're giving away $2 to the house. Okay. If they paid you 20 and said, give me 2 every single time, you would feel it, but they don't. They just give you the $18 and you say, okay, cool. I won $18, right? There's a mental shift you have to make there. Okay. 5 and 9, same deal, right? The odds against are 3 to 2, but it pays 7 to 5, right? Instead of what it should. You're going to get paid 14 instead of 15. It's a delta of $1. It's 6.67% difference in the delta there, right? You're giving away $1 every time. The 6 and 8, same kind of deal. You're betting 12. It's a 6 to 5 odds against. You're getting paid 7 to 6. And again, the casino uses this kind of stuff to be like 6 to 5 blackjack. People think that's better because 6 is bigger than 3 on a 3 to 2 table, right? This is the difference right here, right? Blackjack used to pay 3 to 2. Now it pays 6 to 5. Look at the difference. Right? Look at the difference in the payment on that to you as a player. It's a huge difference, right? Anyway, 6 and 8, you're giving up 40 cents. That's why we say the 6 and 8 are great bets, right? You're only giving up 40 cents on the win versus $2 on a 4 or 10. Good gravy, right? The 3 or the 11, the yo, right? 2 out of 36 chance to win that, right? 34 to 2 is the odds against you, right? That thing pays, should be paying you that should be paying $18, not 2. I should say, no, 17 is right. It should pay 18 to 1, not, I think I got that calculation wrong. It should be 35. Yeah, I'll fix that later. Anyway, these should be paying, 35 to 1, 34 to 2. Yeah, you should be getting paid $35, for example, on the 2 or 12, right? 36 to 1 is 35 to 1 is the actual odds against you here. Those should be 36 to 2. That should be like that. Yeah, I got these wrong. Sorry, 36 to 1. There we go. That's what you should get paid, $36. You're getting paid 30. You're giving up $6. You're giving up $3 on the 3 and 11. Look at the house edge on that, right? The delta is huge. Over time, here's the thing. What's the impact of this? And here's the big, and I did it for roulette too. Roulette, have all the roulette bets down here as well. What is the impact of this over time? Now, let's say when you win one time, okay, great. You lost a little bit of money. Let's say that, and I'm going to give you an example. Let's say we were at a table, one table for a full weekend, right? And we saw, let's say you had 100 wins on a number, right? We'll take the 4 and 10 as an example, right? 100 wins. Let's look at this first line. You win it 100 times, $1,800, right? Because you're giving up $2 every time, the expected giveaway is $200, right? You're giving up $200 to the house after 100 wins on the 4 and 10. You're giving up $100 to the house after 100 wins on the 5 and 9. $600 to the house on a win on the 2 and 12, right? If you win it that many times, that's how much money you're giving back in that edge. It looks like, wow, that's a lot of money. Here's the bigger number though, to me, the wins behind. You've lost so much money. Pardon me. You're giving up so much money in that commission on 100 wins of a 4 or a 10. You're giving up $200. You're 11 wins behind. Remember I was talking about you're running that race. Pardon me. You're running the race and you're getting further and further behind the longer the race goes, like they're adding weight to you. This is what that looks like. Okay. You win 150 times on the 4. Now you're 17 wins behind, right? You got to win 17 clean times, clean wins without a 7 to make up the edge that you lost, which is insanity, right? And this is why we say pressing your bets can help. When you press the bet and you win a press the bet, it takes 3 of these away, right? It's the initial bet plus your press plus the new win. That's why pressing, I don't want to say that it negates the house edge, but it makes this wins behind thing, it makes it easier to recover from how far behind you get. I asked Jacob, how many times have you won on a 5? He said, over the course of my life, I've won 3,000 times on the 5. I would say it's probably an accurate number. I've probably the same. In 25 years of playing, I've probably won 3,000 times on a place bet on the 5. Guess what? That cost you $3,000. Over the course of your life, you've given up 15 for 1, right? You've given that dollar 3,000 times to the casino. $6,000 is what it cost you on the 4 and 10. The impact of the house edge over a lifespan of play is pretty big. And if you think you've played about 3,000 wins on these kinds of bets over the course of your life, and if you're in your 50s like me, you probably have. That's probably not an inaccurate number right there. Look at how much money you have given back to the casino in house edge. Scary, that 2 and 12, right? But look at this, 6,000, 3,000, $1,200 on just your place bets. And that's just one of each. That's the 4 or 10, 5 or 9. Double that. $12,000 in the 4 and 10, $6,000 in the 5 and 9, and $2,400 in the 6 and 8. That's a lot of money that you're giving back to the house on every win. You don't feel it again because you're not giving it to them. They're just paying you less than you ought to. This is how much less you got paid than you ought to on those wins. The casino obviously is playing the long game. Okay. In one session, when you're at the casino for an hour and a half and you get 10 wins, you're giving up a few bucks. You don't care about this. Nobody, it's just a few bucks, right? In that session at the table, this is negligible. This is 40, 50 bucks, big deal, right? You start thinking about going to the casino every day for a year and this number becomes 500 and now you're giving away thousands in that edge. It's a big deal to you. The impact of that to you is huge. And again, I think the biggest number here is this wins behind. This represents You got to win 56 times clean to recover the $1,000. And again, by pressing, you can do that faster. You can also lose it quicker too, but that's the way. This is what this means to us. And I think seeing it in numbers like that to me is very impactful. Now I look at this one from the casino's point of view. What's the bottom line look like? I think I maybe can zoom in here a little bit. Not really. The bottom line to a casino is this. Check this out. The same kind of chart. Okay. But take a look at this. Again, it's all the same. 3 out of 36 for a 4 and 10, 2-to-1 odds against, 9-to-5 payout. You're betting 10, you're winning 18. If you think of a full cycle, right, of the player losing what they should, 2-to-1. Okay. They would lose 2 and win 1 over the course of 36 rolls, or whatever, right? Or over the course of a full, what I call full cycle of a bet. The 5 and 9 would win 4 times, or win 3 times, lose, or win 4 times, lose 6 times, right? In a full cycle, right? The net to the house is $2. The player would lose 20 twice. They would win 18 once. The net to the house is $2. Same as it was before. But look at this. If we say that we have a full cycle of 36 rolls and it happens, let's say that happens 3 times, like once around the table. Okay. This is the casino's bottom line. The bottom line on that cycle around the table is this. If you're at the table for 24 hours, and we're getting 100 rolls an hour, and every roll lasts about 8. Okay, let's do the math. If we have 100 rolls an hour times 24 hours, it's 2,400 rolls divided by 36. That would be 80 or 66 cycles. 66 times we would see all the bets resolve. Okay. There's the full cycle net, right? That's you're losing bets, you're winning bets, plus the house edge. Just what comes back expected on a basic $10 bet on these things, right? You're betting the $25 table and you're at $24, let's say, the net goes up, right? That's why table minimums matter, right? A $10 table, look at a $10 table makes them almost nothing, right? But a $25 table really increases the things, right? Look how much more that goes up on the nets. Okay, so there's a good example to you of how this looks to the casino. And again, for the casino, if they have over the course of a year 5,000 full cycles, they're making bank, right? The more likely answer here is 1 million cycles, right? They have 1 million times where 36 rolls happen. And look at this. This is the profit. And that's all house edge, because the player losses don't matter. They expect those anyway. It's this win. It's this delta between the loss and the win where the casino accountants make money. And this is why the minimums on the tables, you go from $200,000 expected to $500,000 just by raising the minimums, because the delta, the full cycle net becomes so big to them that it makes that big of an impact, right? Unbelievable. There it is. That's the impact of the house edge. It's huge. The impact of the house edge is enormous to the casino and to us, because the casino's playing this game. They're playing they're playing a million cycles a year, 1 million cycles a month, right? We're playing, 5. You're there for a couple hours. You might see 150 rolls, and this is what you see. Big deal, right? Big deal. You're gonna lose it. You're gonna lose a little bit. You're gonna lose this. You see 3 cycles in a night, and you lose whatever, $50 to the edge. You don't care, right? Whalen says on his show, I don't care about the vig, right? The vig doesn't matter. The vig does matter. Ultimately, it matters. For one night, $6. Who gives a crap? Over the course of my life, 3,000 times. That's impactful. That's a lot of money that I'm giving up to the house. Okay. So there's a quick look, I think, at the impact of the house edge. If you want me to give you the spreadsheet, I will. I can share it out there, but this just shows you, right, what the impact of time is. Impact of time. And I think the biggest takeaway for me is this: wins behind. How many wins does it take for me to recover or mitigate or eliminate the loss? I've got to win after 3,000 wins. I got to win 333 times on the 4 or 10 to get back what I gave them in commission. Clean wins to recover that. It's really kind of insane. So anyway, let's come back. Let's go back over to the main screen. And I think there might be a couple of questions here. So I'm going to go ahead and um, kind of lock in what I was going to say here, and then we'll finish up with some questions. All right. So to summarize, the house always wins. We know this, right? The house always wins, and the house edge is the way they always win. The real impact of the house edge is exactly what I showed you, right? Because you give up a little bit every time you win. You never truly win. In the long run, the house is guaranteed to come out on top, even when you beat them. Even when you beat them. Look at that chart, right? We had after 3,000 wins on a place bet of a 4, you're 300 and something wins behind, right? Even if I win 100 more 4s than I should, I'm still going to be behind 250 whatever wins, right? You can never catch up. This is a race where as the casino is running ahead of you. Oh, thank you. Awesome. Thank you. Wife of the year right here. Boom. Starbucks, baby. Yeah, right. See, we love you. But yeah, that race starts out. The race starts out and you're here. Maybe you're kind of even, right? And they start getting ahead and they get more ahead. I'm going the wrong way. They get more ahead and you get further behind because the weight of that house edge, it just picks up on you and you'll never catch them. Even if you win twice as much, you'll get to here and they'll go off screen again. You'll never catch them. It's brutal, right? And again, I don't begrudge them that. I said this yesterday. I don't care. Like I care because obviously it's a lot of money, right? But in the end, they're a business and that's how they do it, right? I said it before. The grocery stores make money. The restaurants make money. Everybody makes money. This is just their way of doing it. Okay. But they're guaranteed to win. You're not, right? They take your full loss, they take a premium on your win. And together, as you can see, that pays the bills. And what pays the bills is the delta, right? They're not paying the bills on your losses. You think they are, but they're not. The losses and the wins are expected to happen at the correct rate. It's that slice off the top, that edge. That's where the bills get paid, right? It's you not getting paid right. So you got to know, right, what those edges are, so that when you're making bets, you're not making the crazy bets where you're feeding them. As you saw, the bet on the 12 was feeding them like 6 times the amount that your place bets were feeding them, right? A chart like that should be very eye-opening to you. So hopefully that does open your eyes a little bit, and give you something at least to think about, right? Let me get in here. I'm going to go look at some questions. Let me change my screen here and let's get some questions in. Oh my goodness gracious. I've got a mess. I got a mess on my hands with my show prep over here. Sorry, today was one of those weird days. All right, there's the question screen. Let me see what I got here. Do I have any questions, any cues in the thing? Let's see. Am I sure I'm not trying to convince you not to bet? Well, it's not so much that, right? It's about being honest about it, right? You just got to know where their money goes. And I think it's like, if you knew, great question. If you knew that when you bought a tub of ice cream at the grocery store, if you knew that the $5 you're paying for that tub only cost them 47 cents, which it probably does. And so you paid $5 and $4.50 of your $5 went to the store. Would you not buy the ice cream anymore? Would you still buy the ice cream? Right? Now, again, there's no chance that the ice cream turns into a car like at a casino. Right? At the casino, you're betting, you're paying a premium for a bet that could turn into more money. The ice cream just turns into, waste at some point, right? But you're getting pleasure out of that. You wouldn't deny yourself that. And I'm not saying don't bet. I'm just saying be aware of where it goes, right? If you think about all the tubs of ice cream you bought in your life, and for me, if I added up all the Mike and Ike's, the Pop-Tarts, and the ice cream that I bought versus the eggs, milk, and bread that I bought, which one of those sets of purchases kept the lights on at the grocery store? Which one of those purchases allowed them to repave the parking lot? Which one of those purchases allows them to pay the higher minimum wage, right? It's the premium stuff. You buying the premium stuff, right? And that higher profit margin is what keeps all the lights on. And it's okay. It's okay. I embrace it. I'm like, I'm a capitalist. Like, go for it. Go make your money, right? Just know that you're not fighting a fair fight here. You're not going to ever go into the casino and say, well, if we just hang on, we're going to be okay, right? If you had a no edge casino, they would go out of business because there's no way to make money other than to beat you more often than you beat them. That would be a fair fight, but we know that over millions of rolls, that's not going to happen. The delta over a million rolls is like, you know, 0.1%. They're not going to make any money on that. They'll go out of business. So there it is. I think that's an important point for us to kind of talk through. Let me look at PC comments here. Anything in the PC comments? Let's see. Chiro asks, "What would you do?" Oh, remember those shows? The "What would you do's?" The "Here's the deals." I think we should resurrect that. By the way, I'll get to your tip in a minute. I think we should resurrect that. I was thinking about this, about doing a "Here's the deal" segment on this show once a week, maybe on like Mondays or something, and let y'all comment on it in honor of Chiro. I don't want to steal his thunder. You know what I'm saying? But I love those. I actually, it was funny. Here's a little Chiro story for you. It's gonna make me sad. But you remember if you remember those shows, and those of you who are new, maybe not. Go to Midmo Yo on YouTube. Chiro passed away last August, and he was a great friend of ours. And he small channel, he had like 500 subscribers, something like that. And he did this series called "Here's the Deal," and he would tell a story. He was a great storyteller. He would say something like, what about picture yourself at a table, and you're at a craps table, and the guy next to you pisses his pants, and you can smell it, and you can see it, and it's all over the place. And you're on a hot roll. You got the dice. You're shooting great. You're on roll 35, and you're making money. And the guy next to you literally pees himself. What would you do? Here's the deal, right? And he would do a minute video like that, and it was great. He would have all these great stories. So I loved it. And I one day on this show, I said, you know what? And I wrote back, and I'm like, here's what I would do. And I put a whole screen together for him like this one, and it had "Here's the Deal" with his hat on it. And I answer his question live. And he called me. He emailed me and said, "Can I have your phone number?" I'm like, "Sure," and he calls me up, and he was all giddy. He's like, "Dude, I can't believe you actually answered my question on your show. I'm so honored." He was like so like beside himself that I would take the time to answer one of his questions, right? And from that phone call, we became good friends. Like, we started talking a lot and hanging out, and he's just such a great guy. I want to bring that back. I don't know if it would tarnish his legacy to bring that back, but I think there's so many good "Here's the Deal" kind of questions we could have fun with. So anyway, man, I just miss that. I miss that guy so much. I really do. All right. So Waylon says, "What's the house edge on the inside hot bets, including the 7?" I have to calculate it out for you, but what you basically do, and the problem with the house edge calculation is that it's every possible resolution, right? So it's the probability of winning all of the hops and the probability of losing all of the hops all smashed together, divided by the number or the amount of money you would win on a win. It's tough to compute that, but the hop bets are 16.67%. They're all 16% house edge. Each one of them is. The hop bets on the hard way hops are a little higher than that because they pay way less than they should. So together, all of those, it's probably going to be between 16 and 20% house edge if you do all the hops. But I'd have to calculate it out for you and see what it is. I don't know off the top of my head what that is. The 6 and 8 caps are a hidden vig. You think it's a ripoff over time. I don't know that I totally agree with that. If you look at, we can go back and look actually at what it. The reason why they do it is because of the change, right? It's all about not being able to make change. If I go back, let me go back to here, and I can probably plug this in. I think. Let me go to losing the race. So the 6 and 8 is 6 to 5. It pays 7 to 6. So $12 pays $14, right? The delta is 40 cents, right? For a $12 bet, you should get paid $14.40. If it's paying true odds, you're getting paid 40 cents, right? If it paid actually 6, let's do 7 to 6, and let's do a $10 bet. Okay. You get paid again. They can't pay you right. They pay you $11 on a $10 bet. So you're losing the 67 cents, right? So your delta becomes a full dollar, right? That's what happens here. When you take the cap off of a bet like this, it becomes wrong. If I do like a $25 6, right? You get paid $29. They're keeping the 17 cents, right? The delta from what you should get paid is 83 cents now instead of 40 cents. Okay. You're losing $1 to that bet, right? See how it's 2.78%, right? If I make this $24, right, like it should be, right, you're losing the 80 cents, a clean 80 cents versus a 83 cents. You're losing 83 cents here, and the 17 cents is over here. So it ends up being a negative to not to have the caps because you're losing this. You're losing these cents right here is what you're getting jacked on. You're getting paid $29 instead of $29.17. They're rounding down on that thing versus a $24 bet where it's a clean win. So that's the real difference. And so your delta here is 80 cents, right, versus 83 cents. So having the cap does work, right? And it makes the math clean. That's the reason why they do it. It's more about clean payments than it is about screwing you. I think is it $24 that pays 28, you're getting jacked for 80 cents. The delta's the same, 25. For an extra $1, you're losing a full dollar here. So that's the reason why I don't worry about it so much. They get really pissy about it. The casinos really don't like those odd bets because to them, that 17 cents that they're keeping on those bets, right? In some places, that's not legal. Like the state regulations say you can't do that. You can't keep extra pennies off a bet that's not part of the house edge. And an improper bet like that one ends up being that 17 cents, and it's weird. So they have to account for that. And I think that's why like my local doesn't like doing it. They get mad when I ask them to do it. Because at 17, and I say, I don't care about the 17 cents. They're like, but our accountants do. Like they have to account for that. The extra money that they're not getting. That 17 cents does add up. Again, imagine a million bets at $25 on the 6th. That 17 cents times a million. What is that? $17,000 or whatever that comes out to be, or 170. That's a lot of money over the course of all the rolls, and they have to account for that. And I think that's the reason for the caps. It's not so much a screw job. It's about keeping the accounting straight. I think that I believe that's what it is. I can bring in a casino person at some point here and ask that exact question because I think that's what it boils down to. It's not so much anything other than they're rounding down and they have to figure that out. So let's see. Holy roller, Brian. It's like the price of popcorn at the theater. I have time here. Yeah. The theater always wins. It's the price of it is the price of entertainment, right? And again, if they don't win, they aren't open. Like if they're not taking profit, then there's no casinos, right? Which is probably a good thing, right? But yeah, like I said, it's all good. Let's see. Mark the Point says it's Masters week. Tiger looks old and slow because he is old and slow. I mean, age happens, right? Y'all remember when Tiger was first coming up, and I think he won his 18th major. He was like 25 or something like that, and we're all like, oh my God, he's gonna not only surpass Jack Nicklaus. He might double Jack Nicklaus's major count. Remember that? We were all like, oh my God, this kid's never going to stop, you know? And then what happened? Just, you know, he gets beat up by his wife with a 9-iron and never came back from that, right? But he was on track to double the majors record. He's never going to sniff it, which is interesting. You're right, Waylon. So that's the advantage you get on those games, right? They pay to the penny, right? Now they're still capping it, right? Whether you see it or not, right? The $10 6 that pays whatever that is, $10.60 or $10.40, whatever the number is up there, it's paid to the penny, but it's paid as though it were capped. They're still paying you 7 to 6. They're just doing the math down to the cent. So yeah, you're right. Bubblecraft's roll to win. You get paid correctly. So, all right, folks. I think that's all I got today. Hope that was educational and fun. I mean, I know spreadsheets aren't the greatest thing. It doesn't make the greatest content. Not like me rolling the dice and swearing, but I think it's important to know where the money goes and how it gets accounted for. So, with that said, it is time for school. I got to go to work and have a day with the class. So you all have a good weekend. I will see you at some point. I'm going to be, I'm hosting Sarge tonight for his Craps Nation Shooters Qualifier. I'm going to shoot at some point over the weekend with Chris from Dice Degen for my round of 32 rather. And I'm probably going to host somebody else. So I'll see you over the weekend here and there. But until then, y'all have a great Friday. Love your family. Love y'all. God bless. See you later. Bye.